Today's Airbenders pivot session is going to be on zone defense, and we are going to be looking at cup and jab cup, and with more emphasis on jab cup. Um, as a team, we would like to have 3 or 4 zone defense, person-to-person defense, the switch defense, uh, and the as in our arsenal. So we are looking at the jab cup as one of the zone defense that we will be employing. Okay. Before we get into the zone defense, let us look at a person-to-person defense. So here we have an example of a word stack and with a person-to-person defense. As you can see, each person is being guarded by another person. Uh, this type of defense is very effective if each person is able to keep up with their uh, person. Uh, the it is very individualistic. You have to take on your defense uh, at your own skill. For example, let us look at the second player in the stack. He's going to give a cut, so he gives a out cut and gives an in cut, and his mark is going to follow him through the disc, and hopefully he will try and get the interception. This kind of defense is if there's an unequal matchup, then that person will always keep getting the disc, and it will be easy for the team to score. But this is one of the easiest defenses that can be learned, and it is usually the first thing that is usually learned by every team. Now let us look at zone defense. In zone defense, the difference is that instead of guarding a person, each person will be either trying to take out an area or a lane. Okay, then let us look at a three-man cup, a three-person cup. This is the most basic zone that is learned, and let us look at how the three-person cup works. Here we have 3% cup against a word stack. Usually when the offense realizes that zone is being played, they usually transition into some kind of 4 stack or 3-2-2 or 2-3-2, some kind of formations as such. Here our offense is transitioning into a horizontal stack. We can see before getting into how the cup works, let us look at the players in each, uh, and we shall name them. So the first 3 people who are guarding the disc is called the cup, are called the cup together. Their idea is to let the disc not pass in between them, but only to be able to throw to the force side. In this case, the force is home. So the behind the cup is the shot deep, and he is taking out an area right behind the cup. Uh, Besides him is on the open side is the open wing or the force wing, and on the other side is the break wing. We also have a deep who covers the entire field behind. When we look at all the zones that each player is covering, you can see there's lots of overlapping. To avoid confusion on overlapping, communication is the most important tool. So we can have uh, uh, force home, force away, or force mid in the cup. Uh, and the deep is the one who actually communicates the most. He communicates to his wings and the short deep, and the short deep in turn communicates with the cup. The cup moves wherever the disc goes, and usually the weakness of the cup is that uh, it has to run a lot. If there's a dump and a swing, then the cup is usually always trailing, and if there are fast passes, then the cup is always trailing. So that is the cup in short. Does anybody have any doubts on the cup? People? Nobody?
Hey IP, hi, this is Ritu. I wanted
Hi.
to ask, hi, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure, sure.
So I wanted to ask, like, when we start in a cup, we have center and then we have two more people. How do we not cross each other? So we have to move. So we have to move in a series, right? So that we don't cross each other, and then we are staying with the person who gets the disc. How do we avoid crossing each other? How do we
So
avoid?
the basic idea of the cup is to try and stay in that formation. How do you avoid is you run as a team, as a cup, as a unit. Sometimes it happens that one or two people are in the cup are faster than the other, and then that cup is not in sync. The idea is to keep the cup together at whatever cost, and the offense usually tries to uh, make sure that the cup is broken by making them move a lot. Yeah, so that's it. Anybody else?
Thanks. Yeah, Abhi, thanks.
Okay. Okay, now then we have kind of understood what the cup does. Now let us get into the Japanese cup or Jap cup. I don't know if the Japanese actually call it the Jap cup or whatever. It's just what we have analyzed and what we think the Japanese do. So yeah, so let us look at a Jap cup. When the disc is in the center, the Jap cup almost looks identical to the cup, just that it is little more loosely organized. Okay. Uh, the idea of the Jap cup, it is a kind of a trap. So the idea of the Jap cup is to try and force the disc to the force side and trap them there. How are we going to do this is the mark. Okay, let us again come back to the position so that we have clarity. The person who's going to be guarding is going to be called the mark. Uh, the person next to him, the center, we are going to call him the bunny because he is also going to be marking at some point. The third person is called the wide, and the positions behind are all the same: the short deep, the break side wing, the open wing, and the deep deep. Okay. Now the idea of the cup is to again force to the open side. So in this formation, we can see that the only option that the handler has is to pass it to the open side handler. So when he does that, now we are going to set the trap. To set the trap, we are going to have the bunny move in and start marking the handler. Uh, we are going to have the wide move in to almost a poachy position, and we are going to have the previous mark now guard the uh, dump reset. Okay, the wings and the short deep also accordingly move. The open side wing now tries to catch up with the person um, on the open, the offensive open wing. This is because the easiest pass is to this offensive wing. So the open wing tries to get closer to the offensive wing. The short deep now has to position himself in between the two poppers, and the uh, break side wing positions himself in such a way that he is able to attack the disc if it is a long pass to either the uh, third handler or hammer to the uh, break side wing, break side offensive wing. Okay. The deep also positions himself in such a way that he can attack a long pass towards the end zone. Okay. So now trap. The idea of the trap is to get to as close to the sideline as possible. And once we have done this, the trap is going to look. So the usual mistake that we do is the mark gets too tempted and tries to take away uh, the dump pass too hard. If that happens, there is a gap that opens up, and the third handler can easily reset and get the disc in the center of the field, breaking the zone. The idea is to not to for the mark person not to get too tempted, but to stay in his zone itself. Uh, Now, if the third handler now pops in, he'll be able to control the position and he'll be able to stop the that pass. Now, when the disc is on the break side, or if the disc somehow swings to the break side, uh, the formation looks so. The mark now has to hurry up and get to the position. The bunny and the white just drop back in line with the short deep, and the short deep now goes in position in between the mark and the bunny. Okay, now the formation is almost like a wall. The break side wing falls back. The open side wing helps in the center and comes in diagonally. the short deep is still in his position. The usual mistake that we do is that the bunny and the mark get too excited by the disc and they go too much close to the action. If this happens, then it's just 2-3 swing passes that can easily get the disc away from danger, and they'll be in a very easy position to score. Yeah, Sheep, do you have a doubt?
Yeah, I do. So
Yeah,
that
tell me.
X is the shot deep, right?
Yeah, this X is a short deep.
So you're saying he or she remains in position, is it? Like, just go to the previous slide.
Yeah, 1 second. So the short deep is the short deep is in between here, between the two poppers.
Okay.
And when the disc is on this side, he has to get to in between this break side wing and the popper. So he takes a position somewhere here. And these two people now are coming right behind, as you can see here. Sorry. As you can see here, this short deep has moved closer towards the disc, and the bunny and the mark have fallen back in line with the short deep. So now it looks like a wall.
Okay. Okay. But with the shot deep. Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So the idea is that the mark and the mark does not cross half of the field, and the bunny does not cross the first 1/3 of the field. So that when the disc is again swung back, they're in position to set the trap again. And when usually the trap is set, the poppers or the four-side wing try and crash the cup. So at the time the shot deep or if anybody from the sideline also can shout out crash. In which case the wide or the wide actually though moves in closer to the disc and avoids him from getting the disc. This is the overall picture of the jab cup. When the zone is actually set, the only throws that the handler has is a huck towards the end zone to the wing or a hammer to the break side and a long pass to the third handler. In which case our two most active players are going to be the break side wing and the deep. So we would like to have these two as our most strongest players, and the uh, mark can be a little more aggressive. The rest of them have to play very calmly and make sure that the zone does not break. And usually we will see that within a few passes, the handler has to either huck or hammer to the disc, and we get a easy chance to get a disc. So this is about the jab cup. If anybody has any doubts, please ask.
IP, I was curious as to how we transition to, I don't know, do we play the cup all the way through the end zone or do we transition to person halfway through?
We would usually like to play all the way to the end zone because transition might help, might not help. But since the jab cup is a very what do you say, trappy defense, we can still trap them even towards the end zone. So yeah, it's actually easier because there's not much space towards the end zone. They have to go backwards. So we would like to play the zone till the end zone itself. Anybody else?
IP,
Did everybody get
can
the jab cup? Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
IP, can you explain a bit more about the wings? That is where we quite often falter in terms of
Okay.
where they're looking and how they get the communication, both the break side wing and the open side wing.
Okay. The ideally we would like to have the deep who has the best vision to dictate to the wings. But also we need lots of help from the sideline because in any kind of zone, communication is the most important factor which is going to help us. When the disc is in the center, the pressure is on forcing the disc towards the side. So the wings either have to take out two players, or they have to, if there are no players in his zone, then they have to try and come to the zone where there are where there needs to be help. Ideally, we would like to have the break side wing help out the deep if there are too many people in the deep, and the open side wing still putting pressure on the open side wing from the offense. Yeah, so when the disc is either in the trap position or in the trap position, we would want the what do you say, the force side wing to fall back and help out the deep, and the either communicate with the deep in such a way that if the deep is aware that he's a threat and he's able to intercept, then he can let him be, and maybe he can set a trap and get the disc. And the break side wing is of course in between the biggest threat, and he analyzes which is a bigger threat and he tries to maintain close to that threat. Is that clear, Vijay?
Yes, IP. And can you just explain when the wing can afford to come in and when the wing can afford to not have to come in? You explained it in the slide. Maybe you can just elaborate on that.
Yeah, okay. Let me go back. Okay, so the wing, when the disc is on the break side, ideally the break wing falls back and helps out, because if there is a pass, I mean, that is the only pass that is available. This is when the open side wing comes in to help out in the center of the field. He comes in diagonally, as you can see from this marking. He can afford to leave this this player, the open wing from the offense side. You can let him free, because that pass is a very difficult pass to make, and if it does happen, he'll be able to get there, hopefully. When the disc is in the center, both of them are trying to ideally see which is the bigger threat. If there are too many players getting into this zone, then the offensive player tries to take out the front player, and he communicates with the uh, deep, saying, okay, I'm taking the front player, and the deep has to take the threat behind. Or the deep feels there are too many players at the back, he can call him back and ask him to take out the player at the back and let the front person to be guarded by the short deep. So it all depends on communication and the place where the players are also.
Thanks, IP.
Yeah. Any other doubts?
You have a question on the chat.
Okay, let's see. Up. Okay. So this is a very important question. How do we tackle if there is a short 1-2 pass? Actually, the what do you say? Biggest threat to our jab cup is the 1-2 pass. Ideally, we would want either the wide or the short deep to jump in and stop the very fast 1-2 and make sure that there are no passes that happen in between also. So when the trap is set and this person is trying to crash, basically that is the crash call. They are trying to either crash in or trying to get into a very short pass and keep going. So somehow ideally we would like to have this the wide getting in there and trying to stop the 1-2 passes, and he can also communicate with the short deep to get in closer so that these passes do not happen. Yes, people, that is about the jab cup and the cup. So as I said, we would like to have 3 or 4 zone defense in our arsenal, and the jab cup is definitely going to be one of the most used weapon, I would say. Let's see how it goes.
I had a question.
Yeah.
How do we, on offense perspective, how do we counter this if another team is putting a jab cup? What is the best way to counter a jab cup as an offense player?
As an offense player, ideally we would not want to get stuck in the sideline. Try to keep the disc in the central itself. There are spaces, and try and break the cup is what I would suggest. But if you do get stuck in the sideline, you have to either crash or crash from front or crash from the back and try and get the disc out. As I said, the most effective thing against the cup is a 1-2, especially if we have ideally we will have our strongest players as the what do you say, the deep and the break side wing. So that means that the Mark and the Bunny will be a little more weaker players. So if they can have their strong players come in and try and get the disc out of there, it will be helpful. That answer your
Okay.
question?
Yes, yes,
Thank you.
yes. Yes, IP.
So I would love to see it on action, and we can also always correct, and we will get to know more faults when we start actually implementing the cup in an actual game scenario. And I would also suggest that we all write in either to me or to Jaideep and see if what kind of position you want to take up, so that it is actually very specific to the position, and I would like to know which all players want to play in which positions. And if you can make a list, that will be helpful, and that way we can even focus on getting your position clear. Thank you
So,
all.